Hello everyone, this is Tamar Rothenberg of Jem Miami. Specifically, I wanted to talk about something that is very, very hard to talk about, which is mourning and suffering. And why we have so much pain in our lives and in the world in general, especially on these times that we need to be having a deep reflection on life, right? So yesterday I was listening to Rabbi Foreman, which is one of the rabbis that I follow, and he point out a very interesting topic in suffering. We, as human beings and as limited as we are, we have like we see our lives like in space and time in a sequence of past events, present and future. And as you know, Hashem, it's infinite, and the past, present and future in the Olam Haba doesn't exist. So it's all together like a circle. We are experiencing a suffering, a mourning, or a loss of somebody that is dear to us, or any tragedy like it happened in Tisha B'Av, the destruction of the first temple, second temple, and many tragedies that happen around the Jewish history on that specific day. For example, it was the day also that Hitler signed the final solution for the Jews. And the Inquisition started, and many details in the history around that, around this day specifically. So why Hashem creates the darkness in the world, and why He creates so much suffering? Because, and to understand that, it's very difficult to comprehend. When you go to a shiva and you try to talk to the mourners and to talk. The advice really is that you don't say much. The advice is really to listen to the mourning person, to listen what they have to talk about. The way we perceive the world, its limit, because we don't see the whole picture, so we cannot understand. Right, Foreman was mentioning yesterday, like doing a recipe of a cookie. When we make a chocolate chip cookie, we put flour, we put sugar, we put chocolate chips, butter. And each of the ingredients, if we taste it by itself, it will taste not so good, right? If we tasted the flour, it doesn't have any taste. We taste the sugar, is nice, so we can, scale it from 1 to 10 to maybe a 6, 7, but we cannot taste so much sugar because it's too sugary. And so we test each of the ingredients, even the chocolate chips, and they don't taste so much so good by itself. So they can taste also bad or good or better, but it doesn't taste like the whole ingredients mixed up together for the chocolate cookie. And that's what it makes a chocolate cookie. When you bake it and then you enjoy, you experience the flavor, you say, oh my God, this tastes so good. So it's when you taste a chocolate cookie that you realize that the mix of the ingredients was what it make it good. And then you understand that to make a chocolate chip cookie taste good, you need to mix all these ingredients, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment, but as a whole makes sense. It says in the Torah that when God, in Genesis, when Hashem was creating the world, He creates many different things and separate them. And it's very interesting how He creates the light, because they say the Choshech was created too, and then Hashem forms the light into the world. And when He forms the light, the darkness, the light was on top of the darkness, basically all mixed up together, and He says Kitov. And then after He said Kitov, like Hashem did in all the different days that of the creation, He separates the dark from the light. So that separation is what we know, that we know that is space and time. And that's why we have the time. Which means is why Hashem said that it was kitov before separating it. It's because it was good when it was all mixed together. And that's what we understand what is the Olam Haba, or the world to come, that as a whole will make sense. As a whole, It makes sense. And why we want to understand this? Why it's a little bit contradicting that you say, okay, so if I have a Hashem that is the whole creator and everything, why he creates pain, why he creates suffering? Even if we cannot understand the full concept of this, because it's very hard to understand that Hashem, our Father creates the suffering in this world. The fact that we're mourning today and that we're remembering and we base our beliefs in that the destruction can become a construction and can take something good of it, it will bring us the energy to face all the sufferings that we need to face in this world. And maybe we don't understand it. We don't understand the tragedies or the things that we are living right now or when we lost it. And we are not trying to explain it either. It's just the attitude that we have towards a journey that we need to this journey that we call life, that we need to live it and embrace it the best way we can. And that's how we can face our sufferings, because we're going to have them. It's part of us. It's part of our wholeness. It's part of the light that it was formed into the darkness, and now it's separated and we cannot see it and we cannot understand it because we have the light and the darkness separated. But it was good when it was part of a whole. If we see our lives, if we see our past, our memories, we all have things that we are suffering. We all have things that we have challenges, and I bet that none of us wanted that. And if we remember, we still see it as a suffering. We say, why is happening to me? But when we see it as a whole, we say, well, it happens to me, but look at the chocolate chip cookie. It tastes so good. Let's try to see all of our challenges in that way. Let's try to embrace the things that we have good. Let's try to face the challenges or the sufferings that we have in a good way as part of a wholeness, and not as individual events that happens to us. And in that way, B'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we will have the Beit HaMikdash again, and we'll all be in Jerusalem all together dancing with that mindset in mind. I wish you a very easy fast, that you learn, that you reflect on yourself, on your soul, on your own temples, on your own constructions. And B'ezrat Hashem, we'll be all together very soon out of this corona thing. And remember, out of the darkness, it will become light. And the combination together is what we have to see. It's our formation, our own selves.